The Curse of Oak Island team has discovered evidence that proves people once lived on the island. Rick and Marty Lagina, along with their team, have been exploring the swamp, a triangular-shaped area that has consistently provided them with fascinating finds. The swamp is believed to hold connections to the Money Pit, potentially linking past excavation attempts and structures designed to conceal something of value. The team's first task was to investigate a stone walkway in the southeast corner of the swamp, which is an intentionally constructed feature. The angular placement of the stones, their alignment, and their origin suggest they were brought here for a specific purpose. Some of the rocks are similar in size and shape to those forming the famous Nolan's Cross, a megalithic cross discovered in 1981 by the late Fred Nolan. The team noted how some of the stones appear to come from deep underground rather than the nearby beach. They speculated that these stones were likely extracted during previous excavation efforts, possibly related to the Money Pit, and then placed in the swamp. If this is true, it suggests the swamp might not be natural at all, but a carefully engineered feature. The team also focused on the Garden Shaft, an 18th-century structure believed to be close to a potential treasure tunnel. As they continued their work, they uncovered more evidence that reinforced the theory of human activity in the area. A shoe fragment was found near the stone walkway, which was vegetable tanned, a common process in the 16th and 17th centuries. The stitching further suggested it was hand-sewn, likely in Europe, and brought to the island. Experts believe the shoe belonged to someone of higher rank, like an officer rather than a laborer. This suggested the presence of individuals overseeing work rather than performing it themselves. This small find tells us that someone of importance was here, not just workers. The leather's condition and craftsmanship tie it to a specific historical context, making European involvement likely. As the team continued to analyze the swamp, they acknowledged the importance of understanding its purpose. If the swamp was modified or entirely artificial, it raises questions about its role in concealing whatever lies at the heart of Oak Island's mystery. The placement of the stones, the alignment of the walkway, and the presence of unusual geological features all point to intentional human activity. By this point, the swamp was proving to be much more than a curious side project. As the day progressed, the team pushed forward with their excavation efforts, removing layers of earth in the garden shaft to locate the tunnel believed to lie beneath, possibly leading to the treasure or providing more clues. Rick and Marty reflected on the significance of their work, caring less about finding the treasure and more about preserving history, honoring the island's legacy, and fulfilling a mission that spans centuries. Chris, a researcher, believes that the Knights Templar, a medieval order known for their military and financial prowess, may have hidden vast treasures on Oak Island. He suggests that some of these treasures might have made their way to Oak Island, and that Nolan's Cross is the key to finding them. Chris explains that Nolan's Cross is a symmetrical arrangement of boulders spread across the island, each one massive and seemingly out of place. He suggests that the Templars, or a group inspired by them, created the cross as a map guiding future generations to a hidden treasure. The alignment of the boulders was no accident. The drilled stones, rocks with small carved holes, formed a straight line with certain points on Nolan's Cross, leading directly to the Money Pit, which is believed to hold the island's greatest secrets. The first drilled stone was discovered by Frederick Blair in the late 18th century, and later, Fred Nolan found 2 more drilled stones during his surveys. Chris analyzed their positions and realized they lined up perfectly with key points on Nolan's Cross, reinforcing the idea that they were part of a larger design. One of the most intriguing features of Nolan's Cross was Cone C, which was the starting point for anyone following the Templars' map. From there, the drilled stones acted as navigational markers leading toward the Money Pit. The team's curiosity grew with each detail, and Chris pointed out that these markers were not unique to Oak Island. Similar features had been found at Templar sites across Europe, where natural landmarks and man-made structures were used together to create coded maps. On Oak Island, the combination of the swamp, the drilled stones, and Nolan's Cross suggested a similar approach. The big question remained: why Oak Island? Chris explained that the Templars were masters of strategy, known for their ability to hide treasures in plain sight. After their persecution in the 14th century, they scattered across Europe, and some theories suggest they ventured even further. Nova Scotia, with its remote location and rugged terrain, would have been an ideal hiding spot. Chris emphasized that the arrangement of the stones carried symbolic meaning, The cross itself was a powerful symbol for the Templars, representing their faith and mission. By embedding this symbol into the landscape of Oak Island, they ensured that their presence and secrets would be remembered. To test the theory, Rick and Marty decided to bring in Steve Guptill, their trusted surveyor. If the alignment was as precise as Chris claimed, Steve's measurements would confirm it. The team reflected on the significance of the cross, as it was a link to the past and a tangible connection to a story that had spanned centuries. While the survey continued, the team could not ignore the broader implications of Chris's work. If the Templars had indeed hidden treasures on Oak Island, it would rewrite history as they knew it. The idea that a medieval order had crossed the Atlantic and left its mark on this remote island was both thrilling and humbling. The team delved into the swamp, where they discovered a massive tree stump buried deep in the muck. This discovery led to the idea that the swamp was not a swamp, but had been forested and later manipulated into its current state. The stump showed signs of being cut with tools, possibly an axe, which opened a floodgate of theories. The absence of related logs nearby was puzzling, as it suggested someone had taken the wood to construct the wooden platforms found in the money pit decades ago. Those platforms, made of rounded logs, were discovered almost 2 centuries earlier and were thought to be part of a design to safeguard the treasure from flooding. If this stump was connected to that work, it would add a new layer to the swamp's significance. The swamp had always been a mystery in itself, with uncovered stone walkways and unusual rock formations suggesting significant human activity. The discovery of a second stump reinforced the idea that this was not just a natural feature, but part of a broader deliberate design. If they could date the stump accurately, it might reveal when the swamp was created or manipulated by human hands. Rick and Gary Drayton returned to the swamp the next day, determined to investigate further. They dug deeper into the triangle-shaped area, hoping to find more evidence of human activity. Another stump was unearthed with clean cuts that indicated tool use, but the surrounding logs were missing. This reinforced the theory that the swamp had been forested and later transformed into what it is today, possibly as part of a grander scheme to hide the treasure. One theory is that the swamp was designed to obscure entrances to tunnels or other features connected to the money pit. Another possibility is that the swamp itself was part of the Templars or other settlers' efforts to conceal their activities on the island. The deeper the team dug, the clearer it became that this was not just a natural swamp, it was an intentional feature. After digging to a depth of 95 feet, they encountered a 7-foot-wide tunnel that seemed to lead toward what they called the Baby Blob. Excitement was building as the team prepared to explore the tunnel further. They uncovered wooden pieces that appeared to be part of a structure, possibly one of the wooden platforms historically associated with the money pit. When they used a crowbar to explore beneath the logs, they found what appeared to be a hollow space, suggesting that the tunnel might still be intact and could lead to something significant. The team now plans to extend the shaft and explore the tunnel more thoroughly, knowing they are closer than ever to uncovering the truth about Oak Island. The tree stumps in the swamp are particularly fascinating, as they suggest that the swamp was deliberately flooded or transformed at some point. The presence of round timbers, similar to those found on the wooden platforms, ties this find directly to the original money pit excavations.